It's Matt from the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast coming to you live this afternoon. I figured this would be a lot easier than processing and putting it up on Facebook and Twitter and all that jazz, YouTube. So I decided to go live because then Streamyard can do the rest of the work. It's the lazy man's streaming hack. But we are here this afternoon. Mania Madness continues. If you've been following the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast at Wizards Podcast on Twitter, you know for the month of March, we've been doing Mania Madness, or we have set up a bracket, 32 WrestleManias. We took 39 WrestleManias. We eliminated 3. Then we had 4 play-in games to narrow the field down to 32 WrestleManias. And now we are deciding which is the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and we are doing that with your help on our social media. So if you're following us at Wizards Podcast on Twitter, make sure those notifications are on. The polls will be going out tomorrow, March 27th, for the Elite 8. We have narrowed the field of 32 down to 8. And we are on to the third round. Just a little recap for you guys. The second round match in the Fink region. Oh, let me take this Mania Madness off here. It saw WrestleMania 17 take on WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 17 slaughtered WrestleMania 4. 86.3% of you voted to move WrestleMania 17 into the third round. On the opposite side of that Fink bracket, we saw WrestleMania 30 do battle with WrestleMania 6, and this was close. It's as close as you can get. WrestleMania 6 advances the 7 seed, 50.9% of you. WrestleMania 6 just edges out WrestleMania 30 over at WrestleMania in the Mr. WrestleMania region. WrestleMania 3 against WrestleMania 23. WrestleMania 3 easily advances. 67.2% of you moved WrestleMania 3 on to the third round, the Elite 8. Our other matchup from the Mr. WrestleMania region, it saw WrestleMania 18 against WrestleMania 20. And the 5 seed, WrestleMania 20, just narrowly advances. 54.5% of you advanced WrestleMania 20 into the Elite 8. On the opposite side, the Streak region, WrestleMania 10, the 1 seed, easily took care of WrestleMania 25. 71.7% of you moved WrestleMania 10 into the Elite 8. The other bracket in the Streak region saw WrestleMania 21 battle WrestleMania 24. 66% of you put WrestleMania 21 into the Elite 8. And our last bracket, the Mania bracket, WrestleMania 14, very closely defeats WrestleMania 8. 52.6% of you advanced WrestleMania 14 into the Elite 8. And then our last matchup in the second round was WrestleMania 19 against WrestleMania 39. Last year's WrestleMania 7 seed upset WrestleMania 12, but does not make it to the Elite 8 as WrestleMania 19 smushes it. 81.1% of you advanced WrestleMania 19 into the Elite 8. So these are our matchups. Again, voting starts tomorrow, March 27th at noon on Twitter. There's only going to be 4 polls up, and those will run till Sunday. So make sure you retweet, make sure you vote, make sure you share, turn those notifications on. If you're not following the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast at Wizards Podcast, please be sure to do so. Here is the Elite 8 in the Fink region. WrestleMania 17 battles WrestleMania 6. 17's just on the cusp of our childhood, anyone who's about my age. So it has a tough task, though, in WrestleMania 6. Warrior Hogan, not a Dave Meltzer 5-star match, but, man, as a kid, that was like the biggest match we've ever seen. Can the 7 seed upset the number 1 overall WrestleMania, with that being WrestleMania 17, and which of these WrestleManias from the Fink region will advance to the Final 4? We head over to the Mr. WrestleMania region, where we see WrestleMania 3 taking on WrestleMania 20. The last WrestleMania ever to take place at Madison Square Garden, of course, WrestleMania 3 from the Silver Dome, known for Hogan, Andre, Steamboat Savage. This is going to be a close one. Both WrestleManias easily made it to the Elite Eight, but now is where the big boys come out to play. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody votes. Remember, at Wizards Podcast, turn those notifications on. Voting starts tomorrow, March 27th, on the Twitter machine. On the other side of the bracket, the Streak region, one of these WrestleManias is going to the Final Four. WrestleMania 10 against WrestleMania 21. It's like the end of an era against the beginning of a new era. You know, 10 sees Brat and Yoko and Perfect and not Perfect, Razor and Shawn Michaels. 21 sees a new generation start to earn their keep in the WWE. So it'll be interesting to see which one of these WrestleManias gets voted into the Final Four. And then in your Mania region, WrestleMania 14 against WrestleMania 19. This will be super interesting, especially because last night we looked at WrestleMania 14 on the Wizards podcast, me and HK, and it doesn't leave a lot. You know, there's not a lot there for you to sink your teeth into. WrestleMania 19, on the other hand, there might be a little more there. So that is where we stand. That is the Elite Eight. All 4 number 1 seeds have advanced. Only 1 2 seed in the Streak region, WrestleMania 21, has advanced. So we have a couple 4s, a 5, and a 7 seed. WrestleMania 6 was a 7 seed. So a lot to think about. Again, this will all drop on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Wizards Podcast. Tomorrow at noon will be the first matchup from the Fink region, WrestleMania 17 against 6. You can vote up until Sunday. So if you have a particular fondness towards a WrestleMania, tell your friends. Hey, get on your Twitter. Do me a favor, vote for this. You know, let's see how bad you want it. How bad do you want to see your favorite WrestleMania advance to the Final Four, the championship game, and maybe be crowned the greatest WrestleMania of all time? So that's it. That's the Elite Eight. A quick video here. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you are supporting the Wizards at Wizards Podcast on all forms of social media. Be sure to subscribe, rate, review. Hopefully you enjoyed last night's episode with Ron Bass Jr. Me and HK had a great time, even if it is a marathon show. So happy WrestleMania season. Happy March Madness. And go. Vote or die, right? That was a thing back in the early 2000s, right? Vote on your favorite WrestleMania. Follow at Wizards Podcast on X, Twitter, and turn those notifications on so you never, ever miss one of the WrestleMania polls. We'll catch you on the flip side.